off week next week. We will not have a press conference. We'll be back on schedule for the South Alabama game.
Yep.
On that week. Coach, if you want to go ahead and start for the opening statement, then we'll take questions. Make sure you get the mic and chat.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, a special night for our football team and our university and our football program. I said this after the game and really felt it that not only did you get to honor history, but you were making history. To have a 40-year team here, to have Coach Russell's family, to have the Dirty Dozen here, and then to defeat a top 25 team all in the same night. Credit to our fan base for the electricity they brought. Credit to our team for the execution down the stretch. It was a much-needed win, I think, for the confidence of our football team after being out on the road for the last 2 weeks and losing games in the last 5 minutes, to be back at home, to be able to really execute down the stretch extremely well and find a way to win another close battle within this conference was much needed. We had a kind of a playoff championship mentality game mindset that we knew we were in a hole, 0-2 in our conference, and really needed to win this game. And it was kind of that playoff championship game mentality that we walked in with. I thought, in watching the tape, obviously what jumps off the tape at you is the 4 turnovers that we were able to acquire, as well as a non-offensive touchdown with the pump block. To be able to, have those 4 turnovers, we always try to get 3 or more in a game. That's equal to wins for us. But also to get a non-offensive touchdown, which I'm the biggest fan of in the world, it was huge in the game. Also securing the ball. We challenged our offense after 4 turnovers and showed them that every time they have 1 or less, it's equal to win. Protect the ball and protect our quarterback. And we had 1 turnover on the night, and we had 64 passes with 0 sacks in protecting our quarterback. So overall, a really great win for our football team. And now we shift pages. We go on the road again in conference and looking for our first conference win on the road against a team in Old Dominion that played extremely good football against Coastal Carolina last week. So another big challenge for us coming up, and the prep starts today. Josh.
In reference to the interceptions, Centeio only had 1 interception, 14 touchdowns, only 1 on the season. You guys ended up with 3. Was there something that Coach Harris, that you guys noticed, tendencies or anything like that, or is it just being aggressive, or what contributed to that?
Yeah, we brought a lot of zone pressures in that game. We really did. Went into that game. Their strength, obviously, was a really effective run game, 18th in the country when they came in to our team. And we really wanted to be aggressive in that game, and so we dialed up pressures. Will had probably 8 to 10 different zone pressure calls that he used in the game and mixed it up really nicely. And we were getting to the quarterback. And anytime that you're getting to the quarterback, we had 3 sacks on the night, but plus hitting the quarterback, that alters some. And their quarterback was phenomenal. I mean, he is a great player. But at the end of the day, we were able to make a couple poor decisions down the stretch, and ended up even on the last one with Anthony Wilson, a young true freshman, Deshaun Davis, who had just hit him about 3 plays earlier, is right there in his face and makes him have to pull the trigger when the wideout wasn't ready, and it goes straight to the safety, Anthony Wilson. So credit to Will and the defense staff. I thought they put a really good game plan together. It was a very aggressive game plan, and we knew that they'd get theirs, but hopefully we would create enough havoc to be able to create turnovers, and we did.
Was the aggressive game plan an adjustment from what you've done in the past? Was it specific to what you saw?
Yes, we had sat down early in the week and said, okay, what is their strength, and let's identify it, and let's attack it. And it was the run game, and they still got their rushing yards. But you saw that lull in the third quarter that there was 4 drives there that really allowed us to take the lead and get a 2-score separation. And our kids were really, I thought they were feeding off it. The more that we did, they really fed off that aggressiveness. And so credit to Will for, being able to see halfway through the season that our kids needed some tools to be able to add another rusher to the party. And I thought he mixed it up extremely well over the night.
Coach,
Coach, I want to ask you, must need to win here in conference at home, and you guys are undefeated at Paulson Stadium. Just speak a little about the fans and, just the atmosphere here at Paulson Stadium makes it so special.
Well, when I first came here, they talked about the power of Paulson. My hair standing up on my right now. I got goosebumps because the magic that's in this place, it's real. I mean, we said our motto was do whatever it takes for 208 and to win 208 here at Paulson and to keep our streak of being undefeated at home for the season alive versus a top 25 team and to make history. That was the second team all time, top 25 team that you get a victory against here at this stadium, and the fan base and the students just incredible. I mean, especially down the stretch. I mean, you could just feel it coming down, and that's college football. That's the beauty of coming to Statesboro, Georgia. There's just a passion for this university and for this football team, and that's been over several years. I think that's one of the reasons when recruits come in here and they see that, oh my gosh, this is an electric college experience. Not only do I get to play in great offense, defensive systems, but I get to be a part of a unique college experience that has tremendous passion from its fan base. That's what makes it special.
Coach, they went for it on 4th and 2 a couple of times when it looked like they could have kicked field goals. I was wondering if you were surprised at all for that, and where do you stand on the analytics of when you should kick field goals and when you should go for it?
Yeah, I know, over the past couple of years, analytics has become a huge piece of the puzzle, and you use it in your 2-point plays when you should go, when you should not. But when you're going for 4th and shorts, I think sometimes it's you have to, as a coach, dictate what's going on in the game. Tell me how we're playing offensively. Tell me how good the defense is we're playing. Is our quarterback hurt or not? There's a lot of factors. Those books are nice, but there's also some things that are going within game. Weather, injuries, how well the two sides are playing, where is it in the time of the game, and that's part of being a game manager as a head coach, and so you have to ask Coach Signetti exactly what he was thinking there. There's times that during the season I really felt good about our offense and what we were doing, so it was okay to go for a 4th and 1 on our own 35, a couple games ago, or you're just outside that range between punt, field goal, the wind's in our face, wind's in our face, probably need to go for this rather than kicking. So I think you have to be able to judge all the factors that are going in the game. The analytics are nice. I think that you use them as a tool, but they can't be that overall say. At some point in time, there has to be a human factor in it too.
Coach, pardon me if any of these questions I'm going to ask were asked earlier. I'm sorry about being a little late.
No problem.
I think having confidence in your kicker makes a big difference in play calling too. And you got you're a pretty deep kicker right now.
Yeah, we I challenged our guys because they're having one of those special years. So our special teams units they've gone from a liability to an asset. You look at last year where probably one of our biggest areas of growth was to grow in special teams to where now it's winning games for us. And the field goal unit has obviously done a really good job for the collective body. Now in the short term, I challenged them yesterday. If you look at the last 2 games, there's 4 points that have been left out there. We had an extra point that was blocked through an A gap off a little bit of a low kick, and then we had an operational fail with a little bit of glitch and hold on the missed field goal right before half to tie it up. As I told the team yesterday, if everybody notices, we've been in 3 conference games. All 3 games have been one-score games. So you have to fight for every point. And so proud of both Alex Rayner and Michael for what they have done, both kickoffs and field goals. They're having a collective great year, but it's not time to get comfortable. It's not time to get stagnant, especially as we approach November where games are going to be critical.
We want to ask about health of the team. We've seen some players that we know are lost for the season, and some that maybe are coming back. What are anybody due back this week? And any as far as Todd Bradley Glenn, we never. I don't know if we ever heard the exact injury.
Yeah. Todd obviously had a knee injury. It was a torn patella that they repaired. That will obviously hold him out for the rest of the season. And we did not have any season-ending injuries last game. We have some bumps and bruises that are day-to-day. We'll monitor those through the week. As far as getting players back, I think JJ's really close. You know, we held him. He really fought really hard to try to help us at tight end last week. He was really close, and we really felt that we needed just one more week there. So hoping to get him back. We'll see how that goes. And then tomorrow, we've got about 4 or 5 day-to-day injuries that we need to look at tomorrow and see where guys are at before I tell you. But anticipating mostly the same squad you saw last week, maybe getting JJ back.
And I'm going to try to go back in my memory banks to last season when you were here observing the team, and I believe Tyler Bride had a very scary injury, and you were here for that, and you talked about how the team rallied around. When you see Tyler make a big play in the game, a crucial play as it turned out in any aspect, do you think back at all to what it takes for a guy to go from when you met him to being back on the field and contributing, and just that whole journey?
Yeah, I remember watching that on TV. I think it was the homecoming game last year, and that was a scary moment. And it was really the first time that I got to see how much these guys care for each other and how much they love each other. And when the entire team comes out and honors that young man that had fallen down, you could tell the love that they had for him, but they also tell the care that they have for each other, and that was evident. And you always, as a head coach, want a team that plays for each other and cares for each other, and that's what this team is doing right now. To see him come back from that and to thrive, being at multiple positions, which is kind of raises his stock up immensely. You know, versus 10 personnel teams, he's been able to play nickel for us, but also has the ability to go play corner, and he's shown that in both ways. You know, we've played some heavier run teams, so we've got a little bit bigger body in there with Derek Canteen, who's also a cover guy, but has additional pounds to be able to take on and force runs, especially with the 11 and 12 personnel people that we're facing right now. But we always want our best 5 out there, you know, and to be able to put Tyler, whether it's inside or outside, man, that's unique to be able to do that, and he has that capability as well as Derek. What a big play he made it. I mean, that really, early in that first quarter, when it could have gotten away from us, he makes that play in the red zone, which really allowed us, everybody, I think, just exhaled for a second and said, okay, we're good. All right, let's go. But that was a huge play in the game. Proud of him, the season that he's having, and being able to come back from an injury like that.
Coach, no let up in the Sun Belt. Obviously, you've got another great team coming up this week on the road, Old Dominion, who's battle-tested. They've played probably one of the tougher schedules in the league as far as outside the conference goes, and they're coming off a pretty impressive win over Coastal.
Yeah, definitely. We both have, I think we both have top 20 hardest schedules in the country. Us having 9 out of 12 bowl teams, we're in the top 20 hardest schedules, and they are too. And I think one of the things that it does for you, Josh, is it creates resiliency and it creates a better football team. I think I credit one of the reasons that we were able to beat a top 25 team here in James Madison was the quality of opponents that we faced early in the seasons. I mean, you face the teams that we have faced, and it really makes you a better team. You grow because of the teams that you play, and so we both have had tough schedule. We've had successes and we've had losses, but we're both playing good football right now, and so it makes for a really critical, I think, game for both of us as you enter kind of the last game for us in October as we go to that November run. And I think we've got to keep the same mentality. We kept a playoff championship game mentality last week, that knowing that we were in a hole and needed to really climb out of it. And we got some good fortune too. You know, we got some losses, being able to, James Madison and Coastal Carolina have losses. Now it opens it back up to everybody saying, okay, go continue to get 1-0, add them up, and you don't know what it looks like at the end. So fortunate in that arena, but getting ready to play another, it seems like every week in this conference, a very, very competitive team that's playing good football.
And what do you know so much about them, you know, X and O's type thing, like they're offensively, defensively?
Yeah, I've been very impressed with them defensively. A number of athletes on the field reminds us a lot of James Madison as far as the athletic piece. Two defensive ends that can drop or rush. They have great pressure players. Inside, the secondary is very strong. One of the top linebackers in the country as far as tackles go. So it is a extremely talented defense that is keeping them not only in games but winning games. Offensively, I like their quarterback. The quarterback has been able to distribute the ball effectively to a number of players. They got their running game going last week. You could tell it was a priority for them. I think after a couple games of averaging in that 100-yard range, you could tell there was a sense of, okay, we're going to run the football and run it effectively today, and it created great balance for their offense. We'll see if they do that today. They've been kind of a 60% pass, 40% run team up until last week, and they kind of changed their process to be a little bit more balanced. So we'll see where that goes to. But extremely well coached. You don't see a lot of errors on tape. They've put themselves in some really close ball games, especially earlier in the season. Didn't come out on top, and now they've figured out how to win some of these, and they're playing really good ball here in the second half of the season.
And Coach, going back to James Madison, you guys only had 12 rushing yards. What was the game plan going into that? Was it to rely more on the passing game?
Well, if you would have told me that, hey, Coach, you could have 590 yards of offense and 45 points versus the number 2 defense in the country, I don't care how we get it. We could have walked backwards into the end zone, and I would have been a bit happy. But it's something that I thought Coach Ellis and offensive staff did a really good job. As we come to the park, we don't know what we're going to get. We try to put a balanced offense out there, both with run and pass, and tried that in the first quarter. With James Madison, we needed to know, are they going to stay committed to always putting an extra man in the box with their zone pressures, or are they going to do what we've seen some other teams do and drop back and play coverage? They were committed to what they do. They committed to stop the run. That's what they've done. They showed that to us in the first quarter, and about the second quarter, we all came together and said, okay, it's one of those days where they're showing, hey, let us see how good your quarterback is. Let's see how good your wideouts are. Let's see how good your perimeter players. And I thought Kyle did a wonderful job of I've never had 3 wideouts have 100 yards apiece. The running back in Jalen did a tremendous job out of the backfield with 6 catches and a huge touchdown. But we did the things that the defense, I've always said, we take what the defense gives us. Sometimes we're going to have to rush the ball for over 200 yards because they're dropping into coverage too much. Sometimes you're going to have to throw it 64 times and make your plays and protect your quarterback. To have 64 passes with 0 sacks, 590 yards versus the number 2 defense in the country, and 45 points, however that happens, it happens. Points and wins are the most important thing.
Coach, we always hear about keeping an even keel over the course of a long season, the highs and lows. Based on just the last couple of weeks, with the way the team has played in losses and then played great in win, was there, with all those quarterbacks you've got, or former quarterbacks you've got on the coaching staff, including yourself, did anyone say anything to Kyle, since he's right here, during the week to kind of say, hey, remember this, I know you know this, you're an experienced quarterback, but keep this in mind? Was there any kind of words of wisdom or anything that came down?
One of the things about Kyle is the guy's a vet and he's a pro, and there's something to be said about reps and experience and being in wars and understanding that some games are just not going to go your way. You play Georgia, and you also understand whether you're a head coach or a quarterback, when you win, you get a lot of pats on the back. And when you lose, it doesn't matter how many yards you throw for, you're going to be criticized. And he knows that. He's been in championship games, and he's lost close games. And sometimes you have 4 interceptions, and 2 of them one of them bangs off a pair of hands and gets an interception. One of them you get hit sideways for miscommunication and pass protection, and the ball comes out of your hand funny. That happens. But every great player I've ever been around in any sport, I don't care if you're a pitcher on a baseball team, I don't care if you're a golfer swinging that golf club, or a quarterback getting to the next throw. All the great ones let the last play and the last outing go. and they focus on the moment and where they're in. He had a moment where he's playing a really good team that was giving him opportunities to produce some big plays, and he made those plays. And not only did he make them, a lot of them he checked to. He diagnosed the defense and said, you know what, you're giving me this, I'm going to take it. To have the courage and the confidence to be able to do that, I hope we all understand, that guy provides us hope. We would not be in these positions to win games if it's not for Kyle Vantries. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, guys, first player will be quarterback Kyle Vantries, and get the mics, and we'll get started.
Kyle, I know you take a win with 500 or 300 yards rushing and 5 yards passing, but being a competitor and knowing, hey, we're going to need you tonight to do this because of what they're doing on defense, how much do you look forward to those kind of challenges?
Just like you said, we'll do anything to get the win. But as a competitor, as a person who likes to throw the ball around, I always look for that opportunity. You know, if it comes down to it and I have to, you know, kind of do everything that I can on one side of the ball, on one aspect of the offense, I'll do it, and I don't care how it gets done. Because, you know, we have this mentality is whatever it takes to get it done, whatever it takes to get one more point than the opponent. So that opportunity, everyone on the offense looks for it, whether it's receivers, offensive linemen, running backs, quarterback. You know, we're always looking for the opportunity to go make a big play.
You've had a long career. Where does this win here against the top 25 team rank in your, you know, the games that you've played?
I mean, it's up there. It's up there real high. To be a part of, you know, this fan base and a stormed field like that, there's nothing I've ever experienced before. And to do it against the top 25 team, do it the way we did it, it was so special for me and for this team and for this university. But it's something I'll never forget for the rest of my life, for sure.
Kyle, you know, no sacks in the game, and you guys threw for over 500 passing yards. You know, can you speak a little about your receiving core as well as your offensive line?
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak, you know, as you know, good enough about the guys up front. I mean, 64 pass attempts, 0 sacks is unbelievable. I think I'm almost close to 400 pass attempts and 2 sacks. That's just unbelievable. It's almost unheard of. And those guys have been putting in the work all off season, back to spring ball, throughout season with Coach Owens, and they've been grinding, and it's starting to show. And I couldn't be more proud of them. And then out wide, I mean, guys are out there making plays. You know, we're an aggressive offense. You know, we're not going to go out there. We're not going to play scared. We're going to give our playmakers the opportunities to go and make plays. And to have 3 guys out there over 100 receiving yards, I've never been a part of that before. So that was really cool. And then to have a guy come up clutch like that, like Derwin at the end of the game, we got a lot of special guys out there. And when we're all on the same page, we're all clicking, we're all seeing the defense the same way. And we can make those connections when they're bringing pressures and when we're breaking hot and all that stuff. It's when things click, good things happen, and great things happened Saturday night.
You a Madden guy at all?
Honestly, no, I'm not. I'm really not.
Have you ever played a video game where you've thrown for 578
No.
yards or somewhere near there?
I have not. I'll play it every now and then, but no, I've never seen that stat line.
You and I talked a little while ago about what it means to play at a place where rivalries matter, the way the Sun Belt has been with a lot of meaningful matchups week in and week out. But with a fan base like this and an atmosphere that was here on Saturday, how does something like that affect the way that you play?
It affects everything. You know, I try not to focus on the outside noise, the crowd, but when you're at home and you're in front of your home crowd, it definitely, and you're standing on the sideline and you're just kind of taking it all in, soaking it all in, and especially after the win, those are the moments you live for. Those are the moments that you play this game for. You know, we love to come out here and compete, but to be able to be in that atmosphere and be on that platform and be able to shine with a bunch of guys that we have down in that locker room and this coaching staff, it's something so special, and I couldn't be more proud and more happy to be a part of it.
Think about what are you going to do? What have you done for me lately, and what's next? we almost forget that about 3 weeks ago before the Coastal Carolina game, we were asking you about injuries and about sore shoulder. Can you kind of give us a rundown of how you're feeling and if the shoulder is recovered or you're just kind of living with it?
I would say it's recovered. Yeah, I mean, this game is a physical, violent sport, and you're going to get banged up every week. So it's all about the recovery and what you can do to get back to where you need to be. And that's been a lot of the focus physically for me, is just making sure I take a lot of emphasis on recovery, strengthening, mobility, all that stuff throughout my entire body, not just my shoulder. But when you're playing the sport, you're going to get hit and you're going to get knocked down, but it's all about how you get back up. So.
Did you come close since in the Coastal Carolina game or since then? Was there a play that you wanted to take off or needed to take off and you played through it?
Not really. I mean, the two-point conversion last night or Saturday night, I actually dislocated my finger and I just was laying on the ground and I yanked it back into place and then finished the game. But other than that, no, there hasn't been any other. I'm not gonna. If I'm able to walk around and facilitate, I'm gonna be out on the field.
It's on your left hand, not
yeah,
throwing it. It's
just so we don't really care.
Finger, it's okay now.
Yeah, it's totally fine.
Dr. Vantries says it's okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. I asked Coach Helton about words of wisdom that you might have heard because of what happened with Georgia State, and people kind of forget about maybe Nebraska and Ball State and all the good points when something goes the other way. How do you approach it mentally, and did anybody say anything either this season or previously in your career about how to handle it over the course of a long season?
So as a quarterback, you don't have the right to go with the highs and lows. You have to stay very medium because everybody looks at you. Your player, the teammates look up to you, the crowd's looking at you, the coaches are looking at you, and it's your job to remain steady throughout the game, no matter what the ups and downs are. And again, this game is crazy. Crazy things happen. Interceptions happen when you throw the ball that many times. Turnovers happen. Touchdowns happen. Sometimes you just got to try and make a play. Sometimes it doesn't go your way. And the most important throw is the next throw. The most important play is the next play. And that's all that you have to focus on week in and week out.
Kyle, obviously your offensive line has done a great job in order to keep you protected and keep that unbelievable streak of lack of sacks. But also a lot of that comes down to a quarterback being aware, be able to get rid of the ball and not take a sack, because sometimes you see that. You see guys like Tom Brady who aren't mobile, but they get rid of the ball quickly. Is that something that you've worked on? Is that something that you have done through your career, or something that you've kind of learned as you've gone?
Yeah, 100%. Getting the ball out quick is absolutely one of my biggest focuses, because the faster I can get the ball to a playmaker, the faster he's going to go make a play. And out wide, when you're on the same page, like I was saying earlier, when you're on the same page throughout the game, it's easy to get the ball out quick. And those guys are doing a great job studying game film, communicating with me. The offensive line is doing a great job of, watching film, seeing pressure, seeing tendencies, and picking it up and communicating with the backs. The backs are doing a great job of picking up the extra guy off the edge, and then they're also doing a great job in the run game, in the pass game. So it's not the offensive line, it's not the quarterback, it's not anybody, it's everybody collectively that is attributed to that stat.
And Kyle, flipping the script to Old Dominion, have you got to watch any film on them, or what do you know so much about them going into that matchup?
Yeah, so I played them last year at Buffalo, and it was a really good game. We got the win, but it was not clean at all. So I'm looking forward to the opportunity to go there and go back there and play an away game there, and kind of right the wrongs that we didn't get right last year. But they're a great team. They've proven throughout this season, especially, and towards the latter half of last season, that they're a force to be reckoned with. And they play really hard ball. They're physical. They're disciplined. Great defense. They can score points. So it's going to be a lot of fun to get out there and compete.
You cleared 7,000 career passing yards on Saturday, but you're coming up on 1,000 career passing attempts. Are there a couple that stick out over 6 years, whether it's here or whether it's at Buffalo or anything like that?
There's definitely a couple that stick out, absolutely. I would say that one from last night at the end of the game, that one probably because it's the most recent, but the one early where Derwin's one-handed grab, there's a bunch. Amari's, falling one out of the end zone last week. Then there's a couple of them back up at Buffalo, but I'm in the present, I'm in the here and now, and I'm looking for opportunities to go make more memories. So.
Kyle, you and Brian Ellis's relationship, what's that been like? How's it evolved? And how much do you guys get together and kind of figure out what's going well and what you need to work on?
Yeah, Coach Ellis is an absolute stud. We couldn't do anything that we do without him. He's the one that facilitates it all. And as a quarterback, you're an extension of the play caller. And for him and me to have the relationship that we have is super special. We have full trust in each other on the field and off the field. We can go in the meeting room and watch film and be super locked in, but we can also chop it up and have a good time. The thing that I really appreciate is how comfortable he is bringing his family around all of the players. He's got 2 little kids who I absolutely love. His wife has made some food for us and brought it into the quarterback room. So, it's just a great family, and and all the staff as a whole, really, they really bring in that family mentality, the family aspect to this program, and that's something that a lot of people might take for granted or a lot of people might not see, and that's a lot of the reason that this team is so connected, is because of the family aspect and the emphasis on that.
Last question for me, 2-part question. One, after seeing Dylan's interception, do you want him as a tight end now?
Got to get a little quicker.
Oh.
But hey, he clearly showed he got the hands, so maybe down the road.
I'm on the all-hands team. And there were so many connections with James Madison on the staff here, players that played over there. Is it protocol for you guys to say, hey, coach, maybe your position coach, hey, I remember this about them, or this guy, I remember he has a tendency to do this. Was there any old memories that come up, ODU a little bit from, is that kind of thing where it'll be mentioned during the week? And do you remember if anything came up about James Madison that somebody said? I know, some coaches and players have been over there. So did anybody bring anything up that kind of keyed into how it worked on Saturday?
Yeah, you're always trying to soak up as much information as you can, and when you have people that have been in certain places or know certain things about athletes or tendencies or how culture is or anything, any kind of knowledge on the opposing team, then you're going to take that and try and use it to your advantage. And you'd be dumb not to, because this game is about adjusting and trying to find a weakness and attacking the weakness. But yeah, absolutely. So Coach Shore played at James Madison, obviously. So he knows a little bit about kind of what they're about. He knows a couple of the players there. So, he had some good insight. Ezra, one of our wide receivers, he was there a little while ago. So he also has a little bit of insight. But we're going to take as much information as we can for sure. Thank you, guys.
Hang on one second.
I said, speed is not a problem. I just need you to throw me the ball up. I'm going to get it.
Dylan, defensively, you guys had struggled against the run, giving up some big plays. Last week, it seemed like you guys were a little bit more aggressive, got to the quarterback a little bit more. What was it in Coach Harris's game plan that allowed the aggressiveness and to be able to help get the 4 turnovers?
Yes, sir. Coach Harris does a great job week in and week out. And this week we we made it a point that we're going to be real aggressive on first and second down, you know what I'm saying? And try to get those guys in, third and long situations so that we can get after the quarterback, because we knew that if we can get them in third and long situation, we have a good chance, you know what I'm saying? And, as a defense in a whole, we just kind of, held ourselves accountable. We had a little player-led defensive meeting and kind of, just let our feelings out and kind of went over what we feel we need to get better at, what we feel we need to do moving ahead, you know what I'm saying, and on these Saturdays so that we can be better as a defense and better as a team, you know what I'm saying, because, you know, you look at Coach Carolina, you look at Georgia State, you know, there were moments in the game where, you know, as a defense, we could have won the game, and, you know, we came up short. And we just wanted to make sure that this week, you know what I'm saying, we come out with a W and we make it happen, which happened. A great play by Anthony Wilson, game-winning interception. And the guys just out there flying around, man, playing for each other. I think that's the most important thing. You know, we made it a point to play for each other, you know, and play for this fan base, man. It was rocking on Saturday. It was so much fun. But like I said, like, we held ourselves accountable and looked ourselves in the mirror, and we came out and we had a great week of practice, man. A great week of practice. There was even some young guys out there that made some plays. And, yeah, we just, you know, decided to hold ourselves accountable, you know, play hard and play for each other.
Coach Helton mentioned after the game how Coach Harris had really brought out the playbook on different pressures, different schemes that maybe hadn't been used before. He said he counted maybe as many as 10 where you're sending Derek Cantine or so. You pass rush every play pretty much that you can, right? So how many different extra schemes do you think, if you could estimate it, that were actually brought in against James Madison? And when these younger guys see an opportunity to rush, to blitz, what do you see in their eyes? I mean, were they just different this week leading up to James Madison?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it all comes down to when you bring in the fire and you scheming up and, you know what I'm saying, bringing the heat, it just all comes down to making the play. You know, and when you're that guy that, like, you know you blitzing, you know, them eyes get big and it's like, oh, yeah, I'm hungry. I'm going to get something, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, Coach Harris put up a great scheme for those guys. And you know, like I said, all it came down to is making the plays. And when our guys' numbers were called, they made the play.
I know you guys' first conference win, coming against a top 25 opponent here at Paulson Stadium, which you guys are now undefeated. You know, just how special was that moment?
Man, I tell you, the power of Paulson is real. The power of Paulson is real, man, and they brung it. They brung it, man. It was so special, and, you know, especially, you know, I was talking about this with a friend, and you know, just talking about how this senior year, you know, we already halfway through the season. We got beat Nebraska at Nebraska, beat a top 25 team at home in front of our fan base. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just these memories that we're creating and that we're going to continue to create. It's very special, and it's going to be a season to remember, most definitely.
You were around here for Appen 18, going to Boone in 19 and winning on Halloween, but how does this one compare? Man,
this one was so special because it was at home. You know, I think that, you know, every win is great, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, this one was a hard-fought win, too. James Madison respected those guys. That's a great football team. I wouldn't be surprised if they went out from here on out. But that's a great football team. And, you know, it was a boxing match all the way down to the end. And Coach Helton said it was going to be like that, and it definitely was like that. But hats off to those guys. It was a great football team. And, you know, like I said, beating them here at home in front of Paul Parson, like, it's going to be a lifetime memory.
You forced a fumble in the App game last year,
Mm-hmm.
but when, if ever, have you had your hands on the football during a game?
Dude, I'm telling you, look, man, that moment was, for me personally, that moment was like a dream come true. Like, I played defensive line, you know what I'm saying? It's always been, I dream about, you know what I'm saying, dropping back in coverage and and like seeing that ball and thinking, man, I better not drop it. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, that moment, so I was dropping back in coverage. And I seen the running back come slipping out, and I seen the quarterback look at him. I was like, oh, he about to throw it to him. And then our defensive lineman tipped it, so it was in the air. So I'm like, oh, man, what do I do? So like, oh, I got to go get it. And then I seen that running back coming too, so I was like, all right, it's me and him. Either he going to come down with it or I'm going to come down with it. And he had it, and then I just grabbed it, and that's mine. And then, man, it was fun after that. We went over there and celebrated real good, and, you know, good energy for the team, and set us up to possibly take the lead or tie the game up going to half, and it was a special moment.
You now have an opportunity to lead the team in sacks and interceptions.
Yeah. What a great one, huh?
I do have something a little more serious to ask you about. It was last year when Tyler Bride got injured during a game, and it was very serious, and he had to be taken off. And Coach Helton was here for that, to see that, and he talked about how the team really, you could see the love and support in that moment. You've been here for a while, and you know Tyler pretty well, I assume. Tell me, what does he have in him that for him to be able to come back from that? And what did that scene show you?
Man, Tyler is a phenomenal football player. The guy is very smart when it comes to football, and he's full of passion when he's on the field, man. And, even this Saturday, he made a couple mistakes, but one thing about him is he going to keep going. Next play after play after play, he going to keep going. He made some critical plays, interception, recovering the fumble, some good tackles and things like that. Having guys like that on your team, man, is very inspiring, because you can draw energy from them guys. You can draw, it's contagious. You can draw positivity from those guys, and it brings a lot of good things to the team. And having a guy like that that's so full of passion, man, is just great for the locker room. It's great for the atmosphere. And this team, man, we really, you know what I'm saying, we really, our values are tough, united, and disciplined. And we really lean into the united part. We play for each other, we love on each other, and we just go out and give everything for each other.
No let up in the Sun Belt. You got to go this week on the road to Old Dominion. They're coming off a pretty serious beatdown
big win
of Coastal, and you guys know how tough Coastal is. They tend to throw the ball a little more than they run, but they ran pretty well this past week. What are you guys expecting up there?
The challenge this year is we have to get one of those big wins on the road, and this week versus ODU, what a great opportunity for us. What a great opportunity for us, in all phases of the game, special team, offense, and defense. Defensively, and as a team, this weekend was a great win. We celebrated that night. We celebrated a little bit yesterday, but now we're back at 0-0, and it's about going 1-0 this Saturday, and that's what I really love about this team and this coaching staff is we make it to a point to where we don't want to be stuck on a high and forget that, hey, we still got business to take care of, or we don't want to be stuck on a low and forget that, hey, we still got a game next weekend. So our thing is great win, pat on the back, but now it's time to step forward and get ready for a good team down there in Virginia, and go down there and come out 1-0.
Defensive mindset change from this week, as aggressive as you were, to playing another team? Or you think it's going to be fairly the same?
Yeah,
or are you guys trying to game plan differently for each team?
Every week, you watch film, and schematically you try to game plan for the type of offense you're going to go against. But as far as defense, we're going to be the same, and we're going to come out and we're going to play fast, we're going to play hard, and we're going to play for each other.
Last question. Yeah. Going back to practice back in the beginning of the fall and the spring, with the up-tempo offense that you on the defense had to go up against your own teammates, but that up-tempo, that stamina that was built up, do you see that affecting the other teams? Maybe standing on the sideline, seeing James Madison, their own coach said they looked like they were running in mud.
Man.
Did you see a step or half a step faster for your guys against their guys?
Yeah, no doubt. That was one good thing about this offense in the offseason. We as a defense, we were like, man, we're going to be so prepared when it comes to playing against tempo teams and things like, just because of the high level offense that we're going against every day. And I did actually. I heard the coach said it looked like their guys run 4.4 and looked like our guys run 5 flats. So we knew that defensively they were a very good run stop defense. We had 12 yards rushing. You know what I'm saying? And so. You see what we did. We put the ball on the perimeter, and as a defense, when offenses put the ball on the perimeter, you got to chase the ball. That, what I'm saying, that gets guys stamina, and to constantly have to chase the ball on the perimeter, things like that, it gets to you.
Thank you, Dylan.
Appreciate y'all.
Yeah.